Sometimes the universe whispers through silence, and sometimes it speaks through storms. When it doesn't want you with someone, it won't always say it in words. It will show you through patterns, emotions, and events that repeat until you finally understand. You may feel confusion first. The connection seemed real, magnetic, almost destined. But slowly, things begin to shift. Conversations turn heavier. Energy feels different. You find yourself questioning, doubting, sensing that something invisible is pulling you in opposite directions. That's not your imagination, it's alignment, or rather the lack of it. The universe operates on energy, not logic. When two souls vibrate in harmony, life opens doors, communication flows, timing feels effortless, synchronicities appear everywhere. But when energies diverge, the universe begins to close those same doors, not to punish you, but to protect you. The first sign is resistance. Everything feels harder. Misunderstandings multiply. Plans fall apart. The smallest things become arguments. It's as if life itself is trying to pull you away. You keep trying to fix it, forcing conversations, re-explaining your heart. But every effort drains you more. This is the universe's way of saying, you were not supposed to force what's already breaking. The second sign is energetic fatigue. You start feeling emotionally exhausted, even after brief interactions. You might wake up heavy, anxious, or disconnected. You tell yourself it's stress, but it is deeper than that. Your energy is trying to detach while your mind still clings. You're fighting an invisible current that's asking you to let go. The third sign is timing distortion. No matter how much you try, nothing syncs. Messages come late, plans collapse, distance grows. It feels like something always intervenes. That's not coincidence. That's divine timing redirecting you. When connection is meant to thrive, the path clears. When it's meant to end, everything slows down until you listen. And yet, you might still resist. Because endings scare us, they trigger the fear of emptiness. We confuse comfort with destiny, thinking that love means holding on at any cost. But love, in its truest form, doesn't suffocate, it expands. Sometimes the universe separates two people not because they failed, but because they learned what they needed to learn from each other. Some connections are mirrors, not destinations. They awaken parts of us we needed to see, our wounds, our shadows, our longing for validation. Once that lesson is complete, the energy naturally begins to fade. It's like the tide receding after touching the shore. You can stop the ocean from pulling back. It is simply moving toward its next rhythm. So when everything starts to fall apart despite your best intentions, pause. Don't fight the current. Ask yourself, what is this trying to show me? Because sometimes the greatest act of love is releasing what no longer fits your evolution. In these moments, your soul begins to reclaim its energy. You might feel sadness. That's natural. But beneath it, something else starts to emerge. Clarity. You begin to realize that peace was never missing. It was buried beneath attachment. That, as the paradox of spiritual growth, the more you try to keep something that's fading, the further you drift from your own center. But the moment you stop clinging, you return home to yourself. So if you feel like the universe is pulling someone away from you, trust that pull. It knows the chapters your soul must close before the next can begin. And if this message resonates, take a moment now. Breathe and remind yourself. What is meant for me will never require me to break myself to keep it. If these words bring you peace or perspective, support this message with a like and subscribe for more reflections on energy, love, and spiritual transformation. Because sometimes letting go isn't the end of love. It's love evolving into wisdom. The universe communicates with precision, and when it's guiding you away from someone, it doesn't act randomly. It orchestrates subtle patterns that speak louder than logic. These are not punishments. They are protections. They appear when your soul has absorbed the lesson that connection was meant to teach. Let's go deeper into these signs. The fourth sign is emotional imbalance. You might notice that your moods swing dramatically around this person. One day you feel deeply connected, the next you're anxious, uncertain, or drained. This instability isn't about love, it's about energy. Your inner system is signaling conflict, a dissonance between who you are becoming and who you were when the connection began. The universe amplifies this imbalance not to hurt you, but to wake you up. When a bond stops serving your evolution, you start losing your peace more often than you lose your temper. That's the signal. The soul seeks expansion, and anything that limits it begins to crumble. The fifth sign is synchronicity turning into contrast. At first, everything might have felt perfectly aligned. You saw the same numbers, thought the same thoughts, felt like destiny was at work. But over time, synchronicity shifts into contradiction. The more you try to reconnect, the more misalignment appears. That's not fate betraying you. It's the universe removing illusions. It's saying, you've outgrown this frequency. The sixth sign is closed emotional space. Suddenly, the other person feels distant, not physically, but energetically. Their words might remain kind, but their presence feels hollow. The emotional exchange becomes uneven. You give more than you receive. Conversations that once felt effortless now feel mechanical or forced. This is one of the universe's clearest ways of showing you that a chapter is closing. You might interpret this distance as rejection, but it's often divine redirection. Sometimes the soul of another person steps back unconsciously to allow both of you to evolve separately. Love doesn't disappear. It transforms into a quieter form: understanding, acceptance, release. Another unmistakable sign is inner peace after separation. It's paradoxical. When you finally stop chasing the connection, a calmness begins to settle in. It's not the numbness of denial, it's the serenity of alignment. You might still miss them, but the emotional chaos fades. That's how you know you're moving with the universe, not against it. In spiritual terms, peace is confirmation. It tells you, you've learned, you can move forward now. Many people mistake endings for failure, but in truth, they are sacred transitions. Every connection you've had, even the painful ones, carries spiritual architecture. Some people come to awaken your fire, others come to mirror your wounds. Some arrive to teach you patience, while others arrive to remind you of your worth. When the lesson is complete, holding on only turns wisdom into suffering. Think of it as seasons. You don't curse the winter for replacing the summer. You understand it's part of life's balance. The same applies to relationships. When the universe shifts the season of a bond, it's so. Because a new growth is about to emerge, either within you or through someone else who resonates with your next stage. Here's a practical reflection. If you keep asking, "Why did this happen to me?" try shifting the question to, "What is this trying to awaken in me?" That single change transforms pain into purpose. You begin to see that separation can be sacred. It is the universe pruning the branches that no longer bear fruit so your energy can blossom again. This is where healing starts, not by forgetting, but by integrating. Integration means taking what you've learned and allowing it to deepen your wisdom rather than your wounds. You stop defining yourself by who you lost and start defining yourself by what you found within. And something remarkable happens when you reach this space. You begin to attract connections that reflect your healed energy. People who respect your boundaries, share your frequency, and add to your peace rather than challenge it. The universe rewards clarity with alignment. But remember, healing doesn't happen overnight. The ego resists endings. It wants closure, explanations, or the final word. Yet sometimes, the only closure you'll ever need is the silence that follows truth. Let that silence become your teacher. Sit in it, breathe through it, and you'll begin to sense a new current forming. That's your soul preparing to rise. So when you notice these signs, resistance, exhaustion, misalignment, emotional imbalance, fading energy, and peace after release, don't label them as loss. Recognize them as guidance. You are not being abandoned. You are being redirected toward a frequency that matches your evolution. And perhaps the most loving act you can offer to someone the universe is moving you away from is gratitude. Gratitude for the lessons, for the moments that shaped you, for the version of yourself that you discovered through them. Let go gently, and you'll feel the universe taking your hand, leading you toward something higher, wider, truer. If this message resonates, take a moment to breathe, to reflect, and to affirm, what S meant for my soul will never cause me to shrink. Like this video if these signs spoke to you, and subscribe for weekly reflections on energy, healing, and conscious transformation. Because endings aren't walls, they're doorways. When the universe guides you away from someone, it's never out of cruelty. It's out of protection. You might not see it immediately, but every redirection hides a deeper wisdom. The final and most powerful sign of all is transformation. When you start to evolve into a version of yourself that the past could no longer contain, this is where you begin to reclaim your energy. You start focusing less on what you lost and more on what you're becoming. The heaviness starts to lift. You begin to understand that endings are not punishments but invitations to rise, to rediscover your strength, and to meet yourself in your purest form. This phase of transformation often begins quietly. You might wake up one morning feeling lighter without knowing why. The ache that once ruled your thoughts starts to soften. You find peace not in answers, but in acceptance. That peace is the echo of alignment, your energy realigning with the natural rhythm of life. Let's explore how to move through this stage consciously, not just surviving the loss, but evolving through it. 1. Allow yourself to feel. Healing doesn't come from denying emotion. It comes from letting it move through you like a wave. When you resist your pain, it gets stuck. When you breathe through it, it transforms. Cry if you need to. Journal if you can. Express, release, forgive. Emotion is energy, and energy must move. 2. Reclaim your energy. Every thought about someone keeps a small thread of energy tied between you. To fully reclaim yourself, begin to redirect your attention. Focus on what nourishes your soul. Creativity, movement, learning, nature, stillness. This is not distraction, it's energetic realignment. When your attention returns to you, your power returns too. 3. Redefine your meaning of love. Sometimes we think love means holding on, sacrificing, waiting endlessly. But true love honors freedom. It respects the soul's journey, even when it means walking separate paths. Letting someone go doesn't mean you stopped loving them. It means you've learned to love them in a higher way, without attachment, without control, without fear. 4. Practice conscious trust. Trust isn't just believing everything will work out. It has knowing that everything already is working out, even if you cannot yet see how. Trust means you stop forcing closure and start living with openness. You let life show you what's next instead of trying to script it. 5. Open space for new energy. When you release what's misaligned, you create space for what matches your growth. This doesn't always mean another person. Sometimes it's a new passion, a renewed sense of purpose, or a deeper connection with yourself. The universe fills every empty space, but only after you've made room for it. In this way, endings become beginnings. You realize that what left was never truly yours. It was borrowed to teach you something essential: self-awareness, strength, empathy, boundaries. Once the lesson integrates, the teacher leaves, and you step into your next chapter wiser, lighter, freer. And if you look closely, you'll notice something beautiful. The signs that once caused you pain begin to make sense. You see why conversations ended, why timing failed, why distance appeared. You begin to feel gratitude where you once felt loss. That's when you know you've truly healed. The final sign, the 7th, is peace that no longer depends on anyone else. It is the kind of peace that comes from understanding that everything you were searching for through another person, validation, love, connection, already exists within you. That's the hidden gift of separation. It forces you to meet yourself fully, to realize that your worth was never tied to being chosen, loved, or understood by someone else. You were whole before them, and you are whole after them. So, when the universe removes someone from your life, trust that it's creating the exact conditions for your evolution. Some souls are meant to walk beside you for a lifetime. Others appear for a season to awaken what's been dormant within you. Both are sacred. Both are love. You may never get a clear goodbye, and that's okay. Some endings don't need words. They need understanding. The closure is not in the conversation. It's in the realization that you're free. Take a moment now. Breathe deeply. Feel the weight you've carried begin to dissolve. Whisper to yourself, I release what no longer aligns. I trust the path unfolding before me. I am ready for peace. That affirmation is not just words. It's vibration. It tells the universe you're ready to receive from a place of alignment, not longing. And that's when miracles begin to unfold. You'll meet people who feel lighter. Opportunities that once seemed distant will reappear effortlessly. Life will flow again, because you are flowing again. So remember this truth. If the universe doesn't want you with someone, it's because your soul has a higher place to grow. Every no from life is a sacred yes to your expansion. Let this be your closing reflection. Sometimes love is not meant to last forever. It's meant to awaken you. Sometimes endings are not about loss. They are about redirection. And sometimes letting go isn't moving on. It's finally coming home to yourself. If this message touched you, share it with someone who might need this reminder. Like, comment, and subscribe to continue your journey of self-discovery, energy alignment, and spiritual awakening. Because when the universe closes one chapter, it's not the end. It's your beginning.